Hello and welcome to Tech Talk, the Bankers video series looking at the developments in the fintech community. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor at The Banker, and with me is Dr. Joy Braun, the co-founder and CEO of AinFin, which looks to promote financial inclusion through a distributed banking service. Thanks so much for joining us today,
Pleasure
Joy.
to be here, Joy.
Can you tell me a little bit about AinFin and why you decided to set up as an e-money payments provider?
Yes. From a personal perspective, coming from economic development background and financial services, you know the power of financial services to transform the lives of people. So it can be an oil in economic development, and that is the missing link actually to allow countries in Africa to accelerate development. So with technology nowadays, it's possible to reach out to the 2 billion unbanked population and help them actually to create wealth. And the challenge here is, of course, how do you roll it out so that there's an incentive for the people to participate in this change process, that you move them from where they are in a cash-based economy into something like a technology-based financial services that will help them promote development.
Okay, and when you talk about a distributed banking service, what exactly is that and how does it promote financial inclusion?
Yes. So technology allows us to deliver services in real time. And it can also allow people to transact from anywhere they are. So the key thing there is to ask yourself, how are you really going to reach out to those people so that they realize the power of this technology and participate in the process of transacting, because that is really key, to accept the technology, but firstly to get to know it. So you use the power of the agency banking model, so engage people who are willing and able to go out there to the far-flung areas and onboard communities, users, tell them about it, but also deliver the requirements of the regulators for KYC, knowing your client, and monitoring transactions so that they're not doing anything suspicious. So we engage those people to be able to deliver service to the communities.
Okay, and I know you've recently signed a partnership with EcoBank. Mm-hmm. What were maybe some of the challenges of a fintech working with a more traditional bank?
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because this experience that we have knocking on doors of some of the banks, big banks as well in some of these developing countries. There is difficulty sometimes in evaluating the technology, but when we approached EcoBank, it was a very, very positive experience for us because they were open to new technology, and they realized that if they are to expand, to reach out to the millions of unbanked population, they need to be open. So it's very refreshing actually when they said to us that they found a raw diamond, and the job that they have is actually to chip off that raw diamond and expose the beauty of what's inside. And so it's very, very good for us to have worked with them. They're very open, and we have been able to expand their market beyond that, what they can reach.
But so, how long did it actually take to set up the partnership?
Yeah, 6 months.
Okay.
So from the time that they found us, we were working very, very closely with them every day. You know, they were calling us through WhatsApp and asking questions, very, very pertinent questions. And then the whole bank was actually engaged in evaluating us, so from top to bottom, and we became very, very close to them because they realized that the only way to be successful is to work very closely together with them.
Okay, and you said you've recently launched in Uganda.
Yeah.
Is the technology really only applicable to emerging markets, would you say?
No, definitely not, because you know, if it's good enough for the emerging markets, it's also good enough for developed countries. But the model actually is quite different in developed countries. So in the UK, we have an FCA regulated entity. We can actually already you know, offer the services in the UK, but we are being very careful because we know that the market is competitive, and you have to have a different mindset in order to enter the market. But much more importantly is that we engage the emerging market economies and then link them up to developed markets like the UK. So because that will be much more beneficial to them to open up to a global market.
Okay, and there's a lot of talk across the world about really moving to a cashless society. What do you think is maybe the main challenge for that to happen?
Yeah, this is actually a very pertinent question for us in Cameroon, because we are working together with an FMCG in Cameroon, and they saw the technology and they said, there's no problem with the technology. We can see that it's great, you know, it will be very useful, but the challenge is adoption. So the change management process is really key. How do you get people to accept the technology, adopt it in their everyday transactions? So you got to get them to trust the system and get comfortable with using that it will actually help them rather than you know, put more risk to the transactions that they're doing. So make them realize that they can benefit a lot from the technology. So the change management process is key.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Joy.
Thank you very much.